I'm super excited to be participating in Vlogtober this month. I think today is Vlogtober day 7. I am going to share some of my favorite podcasts that we can listen to during the spooky months. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Do people still say that? I don't even know. It's been so long since I've made a sit down and talk with me style video. October is spooky and we all love haunted houses and magical mischief. True crime junkies like my husband listen to their podcasts year round. What do you listen to when you're looking for a podcast this month that isn't true crime? I got you covered. So the truth be told, you can listen to any podcast any time of the year. I love to listen to my podcasts in the car on the way to pick up or drop off my big kid from school. When I worked a not stay-at-home mom job, I used to listen to my podcasts or my audiobooks regardless of the season. Sometimes it's just nice to jump into a theme. When it's spooky season, it's October, Halloween is coming, we might want to listen to something a little bit Halloweenish. My first favorite podcast for the season is Deathbed Confessions. Deathbed Confessions hasn't had a new episode in a while, but there's still like a year's worth of content that's just waiting for you to binge. And that's exactly what I did last year. It is murders, espionage, deep dark secrets that people pretty much keep until the grave. Until they decide they don't want to take it to the grave and they confess it at their deathbed. So you can easily binge it, you can get through all of them. Some of them are cases you might recognize, some of them are not. I think my favorite one is an episode about a mother who killed her husband and put him in the storage unit. And like 50 years later, before she dies, she's like, by the way, kids, your dad didn't leave with the mailman or whatever. He's in the freezer. Malicious Moms is podcast number 2 that I recommend, and it's a standard Spotify podcast, so each episode is like broken up into 2 different episodes. I really like Malicious Moms because as a mom, I really like the concept. It's about moms who will do anything to protect their kids. It's not just murder, all sorts of evil deeds like in scandals. I would do anything for my girls, obviously, but I don't know if I would do anything on this podcast. So if you're a mom, you might love this one. It's not what you would expect. It's really interesting. The Mom and Me Astrology podcast is a short weekly podcast that simplifies astrological events, and it's usually about 20-minute episodes. So it's neat because it explains how it will apply to your life. They break down celebrity charts, and they also share a lot of feng shui tips, which I had never known anything about feng shui until I started listening to this. Like, I knew the concept, it was like energized decorating or something, but I really like it because, and I can really apply these feng shui tips to my life, especially as a Taurus. It's like, you don't like clutter, you don't like things above your head, and I'm like, whoa, no idea that I would even relate to it. Really enjoy it. Now, the Moon Matters podcast has gotten really deep lately. That was one of the first astrology podcasts I listened to. So if you go back all the way to the beginning, it's really, really simplified astrology. So if you're just starting to jump into astrology, you can start in the beginning and learn all about the basics. She also touches tarot and palmistry, palm reading. Lately, she's been explaining more intense concepts like aspects and renegades or retrograde. Start at the beginning, go back, you can stop whenever, and you might learn something. I learned a whole bunch from this podcast. The Magic Kitchen podcast is a spinoff of the Magic Kitchen blog. So if you've heard of the Magic Kitchen blog, you probably already heard of this podcast. This podcast encourages the use of food for like emotional and spiritual healing. Not quite like Mirabel's mom in Encanto. It's more like finding the joy and intentions and whatnot. When you go to someone's house for Christmas and it just smells so good. I had a simmer pot last year. It was cool beans. And that's a lot of what this podcast is about. It's all about using different food to spread joy and happiness and cleanse your mind and your body and your home. So get into that one. It's the Magic Kitchen podcast. The last podcast that I recommend is called Get In Loser, We're Doing Witchcraft. I mean, first of all, how funny is that name? I love it. But I also really like the name, not just because it's super cool, but because it really simplifies. It makes the podcast feel less intimidating and spooky. A lot of times we think witchcraft is like scary and oh my gosh, I can't get into that because it's witchcraft and I'm not a witch, I'm a blah, blah, blah. Get in, loser, we're doing witchcraft totally simplifies it. Every episode is like really concise and it's not just about like woo, but there's an episode, the most recent episode is about cryptids, which we love. So Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster, and then there's an episode about the moon cycle, and it touches astrology as well. At the beginning of each astrological season, it discusses what you can expect for the season, and then it also breaks down different gods and deities from different spiritualities. Like, super educational, but it's also really entertaining, and it's simple and concise, and it's enjoyable. Well, that's all I have today. I hope you enjoyed this super quick video. That was 6 different podcasts that you can binge on this Halloween spooky October season. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below which podcast you want to listen to. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye, guys.